up, guys? Welcome to the Start Today podcast. I am your host, Chris Cavallini, and we're back, and it's 2022. Happy New Year's, guys. This is awesome. I'm happy to be here today, and man, I'm not going to lie, I missed you guys, but I am not going to spend any amount of time today going into all that and, burdening anyone with my excuses, which I have done for not putting out podcast episodes more frequently. But as I alluded to in the introduction, we are back and we've worked out all logistical issues, and we'll be recording and filming podcasts a lot more consistently now. And I'll tell you, it's been a crazy 2021 for me, and probably delve into that a little more in detail in a later episode with some lessons attached, of course. But, one of the things that I think happens, in life is when we get off track or things aren't going the way that we want them to go, and we got some issues going on, we tend to, get overwhelmed with stress and grief and all these other things, and kind of stop doing the things that actually light our souls on fire, the things that we enjoy, the things that we love and are most passionate about. And I definitely acknowledged that within myself as it relates to the podcast. I mean, it doesn't matter how busy I am, how much I have going on, how stressed, I might be. I need to do a much better job remembering and reminding myself that, when I do these episodes, I mean, these podcasts give me energy. I obviously love coming on here and sharing my experience, my knowledge, my insight with you to, hopefully have some of you guys learn from some of the mistakes that I've made in the past, and, take the actions needed to move your life forward in some way. But the thing that I really enjoy and appreciate so much more than that is the messages I get from you guys, which happen just about every day. And, the last, I'd say the last couple months, it really started to bother me how many messages that I'm getting from people sharing with me the fact the podcast has touched them and impacted their life in some way, thanking, me and Rick and the entire crew for, doing what we do. I'm getting these messages every day, and then I'm, sitting here having to think to myself that, it's been months since I put anything out. And, before that, we were very, very inconsistent. I was very inconsistent. So I just want to basically put this out here and let you guys know that I'm going to do my absolute best to be more consistent with the podcast, because I love doing it. But as you guys know, I have a real business. I have a lot of projects going on. As I said, 2021 was a tough year. It was a character building year, for sure. Sometimes other priorities kind of alter my focus, but we have some strategic plans in place to ensure that we keep this thing on track and give you guys the value that you deserve and that I can provide. And I think that if you can, you should. So today, guys, listen, it's 2022, and I want to talk a little first about winning. Okay. And I want to help those of you who might be new to the podcast understand that, winning is not an outcome. Okay. Winning is a lifestyle, and it's essentially a standard that you're going to need to set for yourself, because if you don't, there's no way of getting around this. You're going to lose to someone who did. Okay. It's just that simple. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you guys tuned in today to hear some advice or tips on how you can have a successful 2022, right? I'm sure there's a lot of new listeners. I'm sure that there's a lot of people who probably hadn't listened to the podcast for a while, that fell off the personal development path, that are, maybe committing to starting personal development again. And here we are beginning in January. I want you guys to understand that what we're going to talk about today, okay, I'm not going to disappoint you. I am going to provide you what it is that you came here for, but I'm going to ask that you be a little open-minded, honest with yourself throughout this discussion. And I would much prefer if you didn't get your feelings hurt like a little bit. Okay, because what I'm about to talk to you guys about could potentially change your entire life. And I honestly mean that. So, look, when we enter a new year and decide to do so with purpose and passion, like you got to know that whatever it is that you're setting out to do, okay, it is most likely going to be 10 times harder than you originally thought and take you significantly longer. Okay. You have to know that going in because look, at some point also, you got to know that something's going to happen. Something is going to happen and it's going to throw you off track if you allow it to. Okay. What are some of these things that I'm talking about? I don't know. Okay. Maybe you'll have a breakup. Maybe you'll get divorced. Maybe you'll lose a job. Maybe you'll lose a loved one or just encounter some kind of setback. It doesn't matter. Okay. And what most people do in these situations is they allow this temporary event that has caused them, feelings of emotion and, discontentment and basically kind of throw them off course. What most people do in these situations is essentially utilize whatever thing materialized, whether it's that breakup, that divorce, losing a job, a loved one, whatever it is. Like these things are true. But what most people do is they will use those things as an excuse to not only fall off track, but to give up altogether. Now, we're talking about most people. Okay, that's most people. That ain't you. Okay, because it doesn't matter what life throws our way. Okay, I just told you, I just gave you the heads up. Be prepared. It's coming. Okay, it doesn't matter what life throws our way. When life tries to with us on our goals, we need to stand our ground and say, bring it. Because if you don't, you're going to get plowed over. Okay, you're going to go through a constant cycle of starting new things and actually never seeing them through to completion. Look, what I just said, I know that might be kind of uncomfortable for some of you guys. Maybe it's even shocking. Okay. But what you have to understand is if you want to win, this is the mentality and attitude that you need to adopt as well. All right. Because when life tests you and everything is all up, I am going to ask that you learn to like it. Okay, I want you to learn to appreciate it and for fuck's sake, lean into it because at the end of the day, it's making you more dangerous and harder to kill. And that's not a bad thing. So look, the reason most people never get to where they want to go is because when things get hard, okay, which things get hard 100% of the time, if you're seeking out to do something new and something meaningful and something you've never done before, okay, it's going to be hard. Plan on it, okay? And when things are hard, right, and you're looking for an out, I assure you, you'll never have a problem finding an out when things are hard if that's what you're actually looking for, okay? Changing your life is hard, but I don't think anybody really thinks about that part at the beginning. Because think about it, guys. Usually when you start a new journey of any kind, okay, you have no issue doing the immediate tasks and, action steps that are needed to make the changes that you're seeking out to make. Let's just say with your fitness, right? Most people are capable and have probably at some point went and worked out, 3 to 5 days a week, whatever. Most people have been on a diet for, 2 to 3 weeks. Most people have done that at some point. But when you do these things and, you show maybe in a professional capacity, right? You decide that you want to advance your career and clearly, and you're aware of the fact that you're able to show up early. You can stay late. You can, do more than what you're paid for, and you can commit time outside of work to your personal development so you can level up your skill set and mindset and in turn, hopefully create more value. Like, you can do these things, but you go into something new and it's different and it's exciting. So of course it's pretty smooth at first, but then life happens. Life happens in a situation like a divorce, a breakup, a death, financial stress, any number of things. These things happen, okay? And the problem with that is most people lack discipline and any amount of mental toughness. And when you apply a little pressure, okay, it essentially completely fucks up people's minds. People lose their fucking minds in most cases when they're under stress. Most people don't know what to do. Most people freeze the up and literally like allow the effects of cortisol to completely overwhelm their way of thinking, acting, and just essentially hinder their ability to make an informed, proper decision that will actually produce some sort of positive, meaningful outcome. You start to fail a little, or you start to fall, I should say, a little off track, when say you've been on something 3, 4, 5 weeks even, and you don't really notice, but you'll actually just start to be a little less consistent. Maybe you stop going to the gym one less day, and then the next week it's one less day. And the same thing, with your diet, or the same thing with when you're at work and you're trying to, obviously get recognized, right? Have the spotlight put on yourself for all the right reasons. Like, maybe you stop coming in early and initially you'll stay a little later, but then you stop staying later and then, actually start running a few minutes late. And pretty soon you're back to doing literally exactly what the you were doing at the beginning of it. And the interesting part, interestingly sad, is the stories that people will, when these situations happen, the stories that they create, and these narratives that are fabricated to basically justify or absolve themselves of the pain that is associated with quitting and when you give up. Because people often in these situations, they don't just come out and tell the truth, which of course in this situation is basically that, making some short-term sacrifices and fighting through some adversity for a short period of time to basically be able to live their dreams is not worth it, right? Nobody's going to come out and say that shit, right? Nobody's going to come out and say that the comfort, the fast food, the donuts, the Netflix, and the snooze button were actually more important to them than creating and living a meaningful life. No, we fabricate these situations in our favor to essentially absolve our own ego of shame, of the pain that, happens when we don't follow through and accomplish what it is that we're looking to accomplish in life. And here's the thing, people will give themselves every reason and excuse, and they try to pretend like they're not actually quitting, but everybody around them sees it. Everybody else knows it. And what really, that part actually doesn't even matter. The part that matters is deep down, the people know it, but they continue with this narrative. They continue with this deferment or deflection of personal responsibility. Okay. If you fell short in accomplishing anything, okay, you got to understand that it was not the job that might have laid you off, the company who terminated you. It's not the fault of your ex who was a lying whore or, cheating scumbag. It's nobody's fault but your own. And if you don't acknowledge that, if you don't really believe that, it's going to be impossible for you to ever successfully see through the changes that you claim to want to make. So look, the piece of advice that I want you to apply in 2022 is this. Stop lying to yourself, guys. Stop negotiating with complacency, and please stop these diluted narratives that you keep telling yourself about why you're not where the you want to be. I hear this a lot. A lot of you guys claim to love how real I am and how I keep it real. So let me get really real with you right now. I'm going to ask you some questions and I need you to be honest. Okay? Put your ego aside and understand that your willingness to tell the truth about the questions that I am about to ask you, okay? It might sting a little bit. The truth does hurt. I'm not going to lie about that, my friends. But it also holds with it an incredible amount of power and the ability to set you free of the chains of mediocrity that might currently be conforming you to your current circumstances. So please, guys, be honest, even if it's hard, especially if it's hard. All right. Are the decisions that you make every single day when nobody else is watching, okay, are those decisions making your life better or making your life worse? Think about it. Take a second. Just let that sink in for a moment. All right, so my next question, do your daily actions, habits, and behaviors truly demonstrate a commitment to excellence like the one you claim? Think about it, guys. Are you walking the walk, or are you just being a hypocrite, lying to yourself and pretending that you're something that you're not? And, by the way, how's that working out for you? Look, I know that hearing some of this, I know it stings. I know it's tough, but you got to address what the real problem is. And the real problem, my friends, is always the person that looks back at us when we look in a mirror. Okay. How much longer do you plan on doing this to yourself? Because look, guys, I know that there's a lot of you out there who know better. You guys know better. Like, you know better. You know when you're not doing what the fuck you should be doing, but you keep doing it anyway. And let me tell you what happens when we do that. Okay. Not only will you, of course, struggle and basically remain average forever, but you're also destroying your own confidence. And listen, you've probably noticed a time or two in certain situations where your confidence was a problem. And, maybe you even lost out on opportunities because when it came time, you weren't willing to step up or step outside your comfort zone. Okay. Like, guys, without confidence, we're f***ed. Literally. Confidence is usually the driving force, the primary driving force that allows people to step into the unknown, embrace uncertainty, and lean into discomfort. Because when you're confident and you have confidence in yourself and your abilities, okay, you know that it doesn't matter what happens when you walk through that door. It doesn't matter what happens when you take a step forward. Regardless of what happens, you're confident enough in your ability and in yourself to know that you're going to be prepared regardless of what happens. Okay, that's what confidence is, guys. And we can't move forward in life if our confidence is fucked up. So how do we rebuild confidence after fucking it up for so long? That's probably something a lot of you guys are thinking right now, and you've probably been doing this self and slowly and surely eroding and chipping away at your confidence. Listen, I have some good news, my friends. We can fix it. I wouldn't be on here talking about it if it wasn't something we could actually do something about. Okay? Just like you took actions that perhaps caused your confidence to suffer or, cause you to have no confidence. Okay. It doesn't matter where you happen to currently fall on this end of the spectrum. Okay. The solution is actually very simple. Okay. Every day you have to execute on all the tasks that are needed to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Seems pretty obvious, right? Okay. Well, the part that is clearly not as obvious to most is the fact that every day is going to include weekends, holidays, your birthday, and when you're sick, tired, and literally on the brink of mental exhaustion. Okay? Because interestingly enough, those are actually the best times to make a statement and prove to the universe that you're actually serious this time. When you look around, guys, okay, and you see other people slowing down, you see other people taking a break, tapping out, or quitting, like, you got to know that that's the time, that's your opportunity to kick things into another gear and go harder, okay? That is the attitude that you need to have to dominate, not just in 2022, but every other year here moving forward. Okay, look, I want to wrap this thing up. With a new year, I know I do this, we instinctively will do self-reflecting, right? And, we look at the year that just passed, we look at the year to come. And, I've been having a lot of conversations with people online. I get a lot of DMs, and lately I've noticed, a lot of people sharing with me in the DMs that they had a tough year, that, maybe things didn't go the way they planned, and just, saying that they can't catch a break. When I hear that, I tell them, listen, your first problem is the fact that, you think that luck or a break and you feel like you're entitled to something just happening. Like, that thought process is going to ensure you always feel as if you can't catch a break. All right. Because you don't just catch breaks in life. That's not how this works. Like, if things aren't going your way, you got to make them go your way. You think that you deserve great things to happen to you just because your daddy decided not to pull out one night? One way that I can guarantee that you can ensure that things will never go your way is if you continue operating under this fucked up mindset of entitlement and believing that you're deserving of anything that you haven't earned. Okay? When you think that way, I want you to understand that you are being disrespectful to anyone who has ever worked really hard to achieve something, and you're basically spitting in the face of all the people who believe in you. All right, think about that. Like, what kind of example are you setting for them? All right, you might not know this, or you might not be aware of this, but there are people who are watching you. There are people who look up to you. There are people who want to see you succeed and want to see you grow and want to see you accomplish the success that you claim you want. And why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because when people see somebody that they can identify with or relate to in some way, when they see them moving forward, when they see them growing, when they see them making things happen, it gives them hope. It gives them a sense of belief, and hell, it might actually inspire them to take a step forward in their life as well. So don't fuck that up. All right, don't let them down. Last thing here, guys. I wasn't sure how I was going to end this, if I was going to, do like a overly positive, happy new year, kill 2022, like whatever. I didn't really plan this part out, but I think I should just say what's on my mind. I think that would be the most appropriate. And that's the fact that I would appreciate so much if you would stop waiting around and thinking that there's going to be a perfect time to fix your mind and unfuck your life. It's not going to happen. You want to know when the time is right? The time is right now.